This deployment should never have happened. SonarQube found the issue, the pipeline saw the scan, but deployment still continued. And this is exactly how many companies create a false sense of DevSecOps. They add tools, they add dashboards, they add multiple different scanners, but security findings don't actually stop unsafe releases. Today, I'll show you the real difference between using SonarQube and actually enforcing SonarQube. First, we are going to start with the SonarQube setup. Here, I already created episode 5 folder SonarQube Quality Gate. In this folder, I already created multiple files application.py, Docker file, SonarQube project properties, all of these details we are going to write down in this particular video. And also I created some workflow files, SonarQube bad.yaml, SonarQube fix.yaml. First, I'm going to connect to the remote virtual machine. So this is where my GitHub Actions also running. So we are doing a self-hosted runner so that we can easily connect to our SonarQube server. First, I'm going to start with Docker command. So Docker run --name SonarQube followed by the port 9000, and I'm using the community version of SonarQube here. Press enter. Just give it a minute or two so that our server will be up and running. If you immediately try to access, you might get not reachable error. So let's wait for a minute or two, then we can access the server. Now let's access the SonarQube server. Looks like our server is ready now. I'm going to log into that server. So let's use the default admin password, and followed by we have to change the password. So I'm going to give the old admin password followed by a new password. All right, I am updating the password now. So the password got updated. So if you see, this is how our SonarQube dashboard looks like. Not dashboard, yeah, homepage we can say. And here you can see projects, issues, rules, quality profiles, quality gates, administration, and we have some other information as well. First, we are going to create a project here. So I'm going to create a local project. Let's start with that. So just click on this project, and I'm going to give it a display name. For example, we are doing episode 5. So I'm going to write episode 5 SonarQube Quality Gate demo, and project key, let's leave it as it is, followed by main branch. Okay. Once we have that, I'm going to click on next. So here we are going to follow the instances default. Is custom, this is, let's say, majorly used in our production environments. We are going to compare new code quality against the previous project version and also focus on newly added code. Let's keep it simple. So I'm going to click on create project. So now we have our project ready. Now I'm going to my account section. In here, click on security, and I'm going to generate a token. So I will say episode 5 token followed by project analysis token, and I'm going to select the demo project which we created, episode 5 SonarQube project. Generate, and I'm going to copy this token. Now let's jump back to our repository settings, followed by environments. We have production environment, and we are going to add a new secret. So I'm going to give the secret value, followed by I will say sonar underscore token, then add secret. This is done. Now let's try to set up the actions. I'm going to use runners, and inside the runners I'm going to click on self-hosted runners, click on new runner and new self-hosted runner. Now let's try to quickly set up our GitHub Actions runner. For that, I'm going to follow the exact steps which are provided on the screen. Creating the directory, followed by downloading the latest package, and then we are going to validate the hash key. I'm going a bit fast because I already explained about this particular process step by step. If you haven't watched, please watch that video. I explained everything in detail in that particular video. I'll try to put that link in the description. And finally, we are going to configure that. I'm going to press enter, enter, enter. I'm not going to give anything here, enter, right? And then we are going to run this. So our GitHub runner is ready to listen to the jobs. Our GitHub Actions runner is ready. I'm going to refresh this page and I can see DevOps Lab. This looks perfect. And the reason we are using this particular self-hosted runner because our SonarQube is running locally. We are using a self-hosted GitHub runner, and also this particular SonarQube server is running on my own virtual machine. To keep this particular demo simple, I'm not using any kind of cloud environments or public networking, tunneling, and all of that stuff. I would like to explain more in detail about the actual problem and how to solve that. So let's jump back to our Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to open a new terminal. First, we are going to start with writing the application.py file. So I already created this particular folder as I showed you in the beginning. Intentionally, I'm trying to create this particular file. If you look at this application.py file, clearly it has three problems. Okay, one by one we are going to discuss. First problem is we are hard coding the secret key. The second problem is we have a debug endpoint again which is returning the key. And the third, risky command execution using shell equal to true. But here's the dangerous part. The application will work. The container will also get built properly. The endpoint which we are trying to use here will also work. Nothing looks broken operationally, and also working code does not mean secure code. Followed by, let's try to add our requirements.txt file. As I said, I'm keeping it very simple. We did it in our previous episodes as well. Simple Flask dependency. And then we are going to create a Docker file. So Docker file, once again, I'm going to take it from my previous episode. It's exactly the same Docker file, and I'm going to write it down in this particular episode. Now we package the app as Docker image. Again, everything looks completely normal from a DevOps point of view. Now we are going to build this particular image using Docker build command. Press enter. Docker image got built successfully. Followed by, let's try to run that locally real quick. I will say docker run -rm -p port followed by sonar demo. This is running. So let's try to access that real quick. So I will say curl localhost 5000. I get the response saying production application is running. This looks completely normal, right? And also, before pushing the source code, I would like to run one more command. We have another endpoint called debug. Press enter, and you can see the problem already, right? Application is running, debug endpoint is also reachable from the outside. This looks like a successful deployment, but from a security point of view we already have a problem. Now let's jump back and try to write our sonarcube.properties file real quick. So this is my sonarcube.properties file which I already created, and in this file I'm going to write our project key, which is episode 5 SonarQube quality gate, followed by we are going to write the project name exactly what we have in the SonarQube server, which we already created in the beginning. And I'm going to exclude these particular files and sonar.python version 3.12. This particular file will tell which project this code belongs to and where the source files are. Save this, followed by let's jump back to our workflows.yaml file. In here, as you can see, we are planning to create a bad pipeline. For that, I'm going to write the code and save this. Name here would be episode 5 SonarQube bad pipeline. Branch would be main branch, and then path here is episode 5 SonarQube quality gate slash star folder we are checking, and the YAML file. Followed by it is running on our self-hosted runner. Then run working directory is equal to episode 5 SonarQube quality gate folder. Environment is, let's say, production environment, and then checking out the source code, building the Docker image, and then running the SonarQube scan. So in here, if you see here, clearly we are writing as name SonarQube scan uses this particular action SonarQube scan action version 4, environment sonar token which we added in our GitHub secrets, sonar host URL localhost 9000 because it is sitting on the same server where our self-hosted runner is running at the moment, with project based directory is episode 5 SonarQube quality gate. Then finally the last step is deploy to production. Can you spot the problem in this particular file? Let me know in the comments what do you think, and write it down before I tell about the exact problem. The pipeline is scanning the code, but it never checks whether the quality gate passed or failed. That means SonarQube is only reporting, it is not enforcing. This is where DevSecOps becomes security theater. Let's try to add the workflows file as well. Git commit -m followed by add workflow files. I tried to forget all the time. So yeah, now let's jump back to our repository. Now let's look at the actions and see what exactly is happening. So this is my episode 5 SonarQube bad pipeline, and it failed on SonarQube scan. So I see unzip command not found. All right, I will try to install it because it is my self-hosted machine. It is very simple. Sudo apt install unzip command. I try to install unzip. Let's look at the pipeline once again. The pipeline ran already and it failed once again. Let's see what's happening now. So I can see SonarQube scan, loaded plugins and all. And finally, I see an error. You are not authorized to analyze this project, or the project does not exist on SonarQube. Okay, please contact the administrator. So I am the administrator. Let's look and see what exactly is happening. So this is my episode 5 SonarQube quality gate demo project, and I can see project information here, and I can see project key as well. I'm going to copy this key and let's verify with our sonar project.properties, and this is the key. Let me paste it here. Okay, there is some typo, I guess. Caps lock small and capital letter, maybe that is the reason. So let's try to add that once again real quick. Git commit -m update sonar properties, git push. Now let's look at the pipeline once again. I see a green pipeline. Congratulations. Pipeline passed successfully. SonarQube scans successfully. If you can see, execution success. Now let's jump back and also try to deploy to production. Okay. Now let's jump back to our projects here and let's look at the result. If you look at the result very carefully, open issues 1, security. Okay, maintainability 3 open issues, 1 security hotspot. Okay, overall I can see this particular analysis and quality gate passed successfully. First analysis, we have 4 issues, and let's click on this. Clearly it is, let's say, taking me to avoid binding the application to all network interfaces. Okay, and followed by we have other issues as well, some maintainability issues and also 1 security hotspot. Okay, directly it is like, let's say, taking here, make sure disabling CSRF protection is safe here. Okay, this is very high priority. So what do you think? Pipeline is green, deployment is successful, it already deployed to production, and SonarQube is, let's say, showing us so many different issues, security hotspot, and 3 maintainability issues. The tool worked perfectly, but the process failed. Now we add the missing control. Here I'm using the same workflow file, but we have one more extra step: SonarQube quality gate check. This quality gate check decides whether deployment is allowed to continue. Before, SonarQube was just a report. Now, SonarQube becomes a release decision. This is the difference between scanning and enforcing. Save this. Now, let's look at the quality gates in our SonarQube server. I'm going to click on create here, followed by let's try to add a name. Episode 5 strict DevOps gate. Click on create, followed by I'm going to add some conditions here on overall code security rating. So I will say security rating here worse than A. I'm going to add this particular condition, followed by reliability rating, again worse than A. Then I will say maintainability, again same, worse than A. Finally, we are going to talk about the coverage here, less than 80%, and then security hotspots reviewed, less than 100%. Once we have this in place, let's go to the project, click on the project and quality gate of the project. Here, always use a specific quality gate. I'm going to say episode 5 strict DevSecOps gate. Save this. It got saved successfully. Now, let's jump back to our pipeline. Here, I'm going to click on the actions. Click on episode 5 SonarQube fixed pipeline. Run this particular workflow. Click on run workflow. Now look at the difference. Same code, same issue, but this time deployment stops. It failed near SonarQube quality gate check. Quality gate has failed. Detailed information can be found here. Now this is real DevSecOps. Unsafe code does not move forward. Now let's try to fix this real quick. Now we are going to replace the full version with a very simple version so that our pipeline will pass. I'm going to say git add followed by git commit -m, the message update python file, update application code, then git push. Now let's look at the pipeline once again. I see the pipeline is green. This flow looks correct now. SonarQube scan followed by we have a quality gate check. It also passed and finally we were able to deploy to production. This is the type of flow we have to follow, and if I click on my SonarQube server here, the project, everything looks green. No security spots, no security hotspots, Coverage looks good, no duplications, one maintainability is there, that's okay. But overall, across this series, we saw the same pattern. So if I go back to my Visual Studio Code, we did 5 different episodes. First, infrastructure existed, but it was exposed. Then, container existed, they were vulnerable. Kubernetes RBAC was too powerful. Then CICD existed, but debugging leaked credentials. And now SonarQube existed, but deployment ignored the result. The biggest lesson from all 5 episodes is simple: tools don't secure systems, all your decisions do. DevSecOps is not about adding more tools, it's about making security part of your delivery. Because healthy systems can still be insecure systems. If you watch the full DevSecOps Disaster series, comment DevSecOps. I'll know you are serious about real production engineering. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.